In this video, we'll show you how to change the radiator on your Honda Accord. You can find it on CarParts.com via the link in the description. For safety reasons, we advise you to disconnect the battery. To do so, we recommend watching the video, How to Replace the Honda Accord Car Battery. You need to drain the coolant circuit. To do this, we recommend that you watch our video, How to Perform a Coolant Flush Honda Accord. In order to change the radiator on your vehicle, you will need to take off the fan assembly to have full access. In our case, we took this opportunity to change it. Using a flathead screwdriver, remove the coolant hose attached to the coolant reservoir. Using a ratchet and a 10mm socket, unscrew the bolt holding the coolant reservoir. Then remove it. Next, using a pair of adjustable pliers, compress the retaining ring of the coolant hose, which is connected to the radiator. Then remove the hose. You now need to disengage the fan assembly from the radiator. Disconnect the two power connectors from the fan assembly by pressing the tabs and pulling on them. Using a ratchet and a 10mm socket, unscrew the 3 bolts holding the fan assembly to the radiator. Lift the fan assembly to access the harness located on the passenger side in the lower section and unclip it. You can now remove the fan assembly. In order to change the radiator on your vehicle, you will need to remove the radiator support cover. Using a fork, remove the 10 holding rivets. Then remove the cover. Then, unscrew the 2 metal brackets retaining bolts using a ratchet and a 10mm socket. Remove the metal brackets. Disconnect the coolant temperature sensor electrical connector by pressing the plastic tab. Next, using a pair of adjustable pliers, compress the retaining ring of the coolant hose, which is connected to the radiator. Then remove the hose. Hey, it's Alex from CarParts.com. For great content, our best price, and fast shipping, download the CarParts.com app now. Using the same tool, you'll need to disconnect the 2 transmission fluid hoses, which connect the radiator to the gearbox to cool the transmission fluid. We recommend bringing paper towels to catch any fluid that flows out. You can now lift the radiator to free the 2 rubber insulators at the bottom of the radiator and extract it through the top. Remove the hose connecting the radiator to the coolant reservoir. Retrieve the 2 rubber insulators from the old radiator. Using a ratchet and a long 17mm socket, unscrew the coolant temperature sensor. You can order the radiator used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Unscrew the sensor's shutter cover. Lubricate the reducer's O-ring and screw it back on. To tighten it, use your ratchet and a 24mm socket. Take the sensor. Install the sensor gasket correctly. You can also lubricate this O-ring. Screw it back in roughly by hand. Finish off tightening with a ratchet. Place the 2 lower rubber insulators on the radiator. If they look worn, we recommend replacing them with new ones. Reinstall the connecting hose. Remove the first blanking plug from the oil cooling circuit. Install the metal connector provided in the kit. Adjust it to the position shown in the video. Finish tightening the connector using a 19mm wrench. Do the same on the other side. Now you can put the 3 speed nuts back in place. Remove the last blanking plugs. Your new radiator is now ready to be installed. If you change your radiator fan, recover the bracket from the old one and screw it back onto the new one. Take the radiator. You can now put the radiator back in place by inserting the 2 rubber insulators into their slots. Replace the upper brackets. Then tighten the bolts by hand. Finish off tightening with a ratchet. You can now reconnect the hoses to the radiator. To do this, first reconnect the 2 fluid transmission hoses, then refit their retaining rings. Repeat the same operation for the lower coolant hose. Reconnect the sensor connectors. You can now install the fan assembly by inserting the 3 lugs into their rubber insulators. Then, screw the 3 bolts back in by hand at first. Finish off tightening with a ratchet. Clip the harness back on and reconnect the 2 fan power connectors. Clip the coolant hose back into the fan assembly. Then, put the hose clamp back in place. Take the new coolant reservoir, put it back in place. Then screw the bolt back in roughly by hand. Finish off tightening with a ratchet. Reconnect the hose. Reconnect the battery. Put the plastic cover back on. Now you need to refill the radiator with coolant and purge any air from the circuit. To do this, we recommend that you watch our video, How to Perform a Coolant Flush Honda Accord. We also advise you to check the transmission fluid level, as some fluid may have leaked out during the operation. Operation complete.